very dear friend of mine, the poet Daljit Nagra, said to me, "The life of the victim is still a creative one," and that's meant so much to me. And so it appears in one of the poems because maybe it kind of allows for that kind of movement that we were talking about, kind of breaking the kind of varnished stuckness of the still life painting, actually thinking about paying attention, thinking about creativity, thinking about curiosity. And I really believe, that making anything creatively is a really important and beneficial and nourishing act. And I really believe that no matter what has happened to us, whatever hurt has befallen us, we still have the opportunity to be creative in whatever capacity. And that I find really thrilling and generative, and I'm very grateful.
I was casting my eye over my notes for this conversation this morning, and I realized that in all of the notes that I'd taken with the titles of some of these still life poems, I'd made an error. Instead of writing still life, I'd written still live, which I found myself looking at it because sometimes I think those errors can reveal something back. And I thought there's an imperative in that. Like I am joining with the impulse of the reader to go still live, and also joining with the intuition of so much of the speaker, which is about a kind of a recognition of live. And then also I found myself thinking, by denying something or changing it, I'm suppressing something too. I was caught up so much in what these poems were doing in me, where the speaker is essentially an accompanier to me, an accompanier to my own distress, because these are difficult poems to read, even in the midst of their jouissance.
I really love that you were writing down still live. I think that's a really beautiful response to them. I guess that is implicit in the title of the still life, life that has been stilled, but life that is in some capacity still alive. I think of the still life painting almost as a kind of beautiful, ornate, shining ghost. And because when you look at a still life painting, whatever the symbols are in there, if it's an oyster or a rose or a tulip, they've been dead for centuries. But somehow this representation of them has survived. So it's almost like we've got this ornate, shining ghost kind of beaming back at us. And I do feel that there's knowledge there, there's wisdom there, and there's life there, in spite of the object being literally dead. So there's a kind of haunting, and I think a haunting is a lively thing that is still full of surprising life.